To the hall, but we leave you with Harry the K and yesterday's rendition of Take Me Out to the Ball Game. We'll see you on Daily News Live and Post Game Live. Enjoy the game, everyone.
A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jam. I don't care if I ever get back, for it's root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. Or it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball
Now the umpires for this afternoon's game, and they might have a key here. Marvin Hudson is the young umpire. He called the balls and strikes. Mike Van Vliet at first base, Danny DeMuth at second, and Kerwin Danley at third.
There's Greg Pryor. The trainer was just over. I'm sorry, Mark Pryor. The trainer was just over there looking at him. I thought maybe he was looking at his finger, but I might have just been seeing things.
Cubs take the field. Sammy takes his run in right field in front of the bleachers. Crowd right field, as he always does. And Larry Bowa is starting lineup for the Phillies this afternoon. We'll have Doug Glanville in center field leading off. Jimmy Rollins shortstop at second. Bobby Abreu right field hitting third. Pat Burrell left field bats fourth. Travis Lee first base hitting fifth. Scott Rowland third base bats sixth. Mike Lieberthal catching hitting seventh. Marlon Anderson at second base bats eighth. Fred Myers pitching hitting ninth. That lineup facing 21-year-old Mark Pryor.
And some good numbers for Pryor. 11 starts. 4-2 record, a pretty good ERA of 3.41. Does not give up a lot of hits. See the opponents hitting 207. 25 walks, 78 strikeouts. Those walks, I think, will probably come down as he gets more comfortable in that rotation. Right-handers only 203, left-handers 212. He's a power pitcher, 3+ pitches. That means 3 pitches that are plus pitches. Very good command, an excellent composer. 8 innings in his last start, only 2 hits, no walks, and 8 punch-outs. A plus pitch is an above-average pitch, a fastball, a curveball, and a changeup. He threw a lot of changeups his last time out, and he has got all 3 pitches. As I said, much the same as Brett Myers. Good quality stuff.
Phillies are looking at him for the first time. He has never faced the Phils, and Doug Glanville will lead it off, hitting at 220. Special birthday wishes today to Henry King Sr., celebrating his 83rd and King of Prussia. Dad of our advanced scout Hank King, watching the ball game back in King of Prussia. One strike to Doug Glanville.
Really good mechanics of Mark Pryor. Not a lot of movement in his delivery. Gets his weight back, good balance, and just goes right to the plate.
Ground ball shortstop Gonzalez. There's one on the foul stride, one down here in the first. And it'll bring up Jimmy Rollins.
Only 6.7 hits per 9 for Pryor, 3.4 walks. That, as I said, I really think that'll come down. He's got better command than he's shown here, and part of that is probably nervousness and not knowing the hitters and not wanting to give in.
Rollins hitting at 244. Fleming and Linda Murray, longtime season ticket holders at Veterans Stadium here at Wrigley, cheering for the Phils, sending their best to friends watching back home. 2-1 to Jimmy Rollins.
thing about Pryor, it just looks like he throws. He's got a good fastball, low to mid-90s, but it's like effortless.
We don't have a speed gun here at Wrigley Field in Chicago, but you got to think he's throwing in the high 90s, 95 to 98 sort of thing.
He's getting it up there.
In the air to center field, pretty deep, but Patterson has a beat on him in front of the warning track and makes the catch. The wind is not as strong as yesterday, as we mentioned, but it is blowing in, so it should aid the pitchers.
Yeah, you see the delivery. Good weight balance there. Weight on his back leg. And look at his head, how still he keeps his head. Which is something I think is very important for young pitchers. Your body's going to follow your chin. You keep your head straight. And you see where you want to throw the ball all the time.
One strike to Abreu, who's hitting at 295. Strikes to Bobby Abreu.
Bobby's been going with the long ball last couple games. First game of the series up in Farnsworth gives the Phils a lead with that bomb, and yesterday smokes this ball to dead center field against the Gale. Not produced the numbers as far as home runs, RBIs this year like he did last year, but his average is 10 points higher.
And he has 31 doubles and 5 triples among the league leaders in doubles and triples, and he likes to hit here. He's a .347 lifetime hitter here at Wrigley Field. 1-2 to Abreu. Struck him out. A 1-2-3 inning for Pryor. No runs, hits, errors, and none left. After one half here at Wrigley Field, the Phils nothing, and the Cubs are coming to bat. Phils didn't score in the top of the first. Bruce Kim's starting lineup for the Cubs as they bat in the bottom half. Mark Bellhorn, second base, leads off. Bill Miller, third base, bats second. Sammy Sosa, right field, hitting third. Fred McGriff, first base, bats fourth. Moise Salou back in the lineup in left field, hitting fifth. Corey Patterson, center field, bats sixth. Todd Hundley catching, hitting seventh. Alex Gonzalez at shortstop, bats eighth. Mark Pryor, the pitcher, hitting ninth. That lineup facing 21-year-old Brett Myers.
And Brett Myers in his major league debut. Good numbers in Scranton. Actually, numbers a little more inflated. He had one game where he gave up 9 runs in 2 1/3 innings. Another game where he gave up 7. Other than that, he's been very good. 87 strikeouts to 19 walks. Fastball 92 to 96. Got a very good curveball, and his changeup just gets better and better. He's got good control, good command.
One ball and no strikes to Mark Bellhorn. 2-0 the count to Bellhorn, who's hitting at .284, switch hitter. Two balls and a strike. Been pitching lights out his last 4 starts, 3-0. A 2.01 ERA. And he pops up the first major league hitter he faces. Jimmy Rollins waits, and Jimmy Rollins puts it away, 1 down.
There's his father on the left, Phil.
Mom Jan, girlfriend Kim from Reading are here to watch Brett Myers' major league debut.
And I'm sure they are as nervous, if not more so, than Brett Myers out on the mound.
Well, they got that first hitter out of the way. Now he's got Bill Miller. Miller hitting at .250. Brett Myers has no idea that Miller over the years has been a Philly killer. You don't know anything about that. He just knows he's a switch hitter up there.
Probably better.
1 ball and 1 strike. Offs the foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Birthday wishes to Anthony Mangino in Sicklerville, New Jersey, from wife Jerry, from the DiValerios and the Peachlow families, and from us to Anthony Mangino in Sicklerville. 2-2 here to Bill Miller. Count.
I think if there's any young pitcher in baseball that could go on a basis of no fear, it is Brett Myers. He is fearless out on that mound.
He wants Miller.
Maybe he did know about Miller.
Miller is a lifetime .372 hitter against Phillies pitching.
Myers, another one, another young pitcher with very good mechanics. And there's obviously some nervousness. He's going to have the butterflies, have the adrenaline going, and maybe be a little over-amped in the early going.
Faces Sammy Sosa here. Sammy hitting at .293. 30 homers, tied for the league lead in homers with Lance Berkman of Houston. 65 RBIs. He's also tied for the league lead in runs scored with 74 of them. 1-0.
I think it's essential that Mike Lieberthal behind the plate work with Brett Myers, communicate with him, and just help him along through this game. Whether it's slowing him down, talking to him, going out to the mound if he gets behind, gets in a situation, will really help out a young pitcher.
High fly ball, shallow right field. The wind pushes it foul. The wind pushes it out of play. Our Pico Energy Power Ranking shows Sammy tied for the National League lead in homers with Lance Berkman of Houston. In the American League, it's A-Rod, Alex Rodriguez of Texas with 32, and Jim Thome of Cleveland with 28. This one should stay playable. Bobby Abreu hauls off Marlon Anderson and puts it away for out number 2. And it'll bring up Fred McGriff, who has been hot lately for the Chicago Cubs.
Myers went right after Sosa. The fastball, he just goes power against power, and he gets the better of Sammy.
And hitting at .270 with 21 home runs. Tied for 7th in the league in RBIs with 70. Last 17 games, he's hit at a .317 clip with 7 home runs. Against the Phillies, he is 7 for 16 with a couple of homers. It's it on the ground to second base. First inning, A-OK for Brett Myers. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left. At the end of 1 here at Wrigley Field. It's the Phils nothing and the Cubs nothing.
Harry, hi, it's Phil. I just want to say congratulations on a well-deserved and long overdue induction into the Hall of Fame. What an honor it was to have been a part of the organization, to hear your voice for the 10 years, and every chance I get, I still listen to you. You're a great person, a great human being, and this is well deserved. So congratulations and God bless.
You're getting closer, H.
Yeah, it's getting closer, all right. It'll be Sunday, I'm sure. Once I get to Cooperstown, it's gonna maybe sink in, and I know I'll have a wonderful time there.
No doubt about it.
But that man might also be setting himself up for an award himself this year. Kurt Schilling, a 17-game winner, and Burrell hits it deep to left center. But it's going to stay in the park, and it's caught by Moise Saloon, nearly a collision. Burrell came oh so close to giving Myers a lead here. One down.
I'm sure if you ask Pat Burrell, he'll say he crushed this ball. He got it up in the air in that wind when it's blowing in. A good swing, a nice finish. And I think Burrell probably, when he hit the ball, thought he had a bomb. But not to be against this wind.
Travis Lee smokes this ball, but caught by Sammy Sosa. 2 pitches and 2 loud outs for the Phils here in the second. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority the Phillies and may not be reproduced nor retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Phillies. Scott ROLEN, whose 3-run homer yesterday, won it for the Phils, hitting at .263, 16 homers. He's knocked in 65. Having a good month. He's hitting .319 in this month of July, and he undoubtedly will take a pitch. He won't let Pryor get away with a 3-pitch inning. 1 strike.
And this was the game winner yesterday. A high fastball from Farnsworth. He had been beating ROLEN on fastballs. He was fouling him off to the right. This time Scotty got the bat head out and smokes it.
1 ball and 1 strike to Scott ROLEN. The ball to center field. Patterson started in. Now he has to go back, but he has it lined up. So a 5-pitch inning for Pryor. No runs, hits, errors, and none left. We go to the bottom of the second. It's a 0-0 game. Night, July 30th against Barry Bonds and the Giants. The Giants are in the 30th, 31st, August 1st. They'll be followed by the Dodgers. Friday the 2nd, 7:05. Saturday the 3rd, a 1:15 game. That's Nickelodeon SpongeBob SquarePants Day. Sunday the 4th, 1:35. All fans 14 and under will get a Bobby Abreu replica jersey. Compliments of Pico. And then Monday, our final Citizens Bank Business Person Special with Pride of the Phillies posters for all fans at 1:05. Order your tickets for the Giants and Dodgers. Call 215-463-1000 or online at Phillies.com.
Brett Myers' second scheduled start will be on that 30th.
He barely had time to put his glove down in the dugout this first half of the inning. Pryor needed only 5 pitches to get out of the inning. So Myers right back out there, and he gets a Lou to ground it to Jimmy Rollins. 1 down here in the second.
Brett Myers making his debut today at a young age of 21. A lot of Phillies in this lineup on this ball club through the farm system and made their debuts at 21 and 22 years old. They are doing a good job developing players in their farm system.
Yes, they are. Here is Corey Patterson hitting at .262. 1-0. Birthday wishes to Arthur Screevy in Wilmington, Delaware. From Mom, Dad, and from us to Arthur Screevy. Backdoor breaking ball, 1 ball and 1 strike.
I think that's something that the Phillies have really turned around, is their farm system in the last 7-8 years.
2 balls and a strike to Corey Patterson. Little tapper. Myers, good fielder, lobs it to first, and Patterson is out. 2 down. It'll bring up Todd Hundley.
Nice athletic play by Myers. Does a good job helping himself on the mound. A good athlete. And bounces off this mound. Good finish. In a position to field anything. Makes a nice play right there.
Harrison of Hamilton Square, New Jersey, a longtime Phillies fan, celebrating an 82nd birthday. Wishes from wife Charlotte, children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, and from us to Ahmed Harrison in Hamilton Square, New Jersey. Hundley hitting him 193. All-time record for homers by a catcher in the season. In '96 with the Mets when he hit 41 home runs. 9 home runs this year. They have all been hit left-handed. One ball and 2 strikes. Is a foul. 1 and 2. Well, so far, whatever concern I might have had about the young umpire Marvin Hudson calling this game, no problem at all. He's called a pretty good game back there. Backdoor breaking ball struck him right on out of there. First major league strikeout for Myers. Todd Hundley is the victim. No runs, hits, errors, and none left. At the end of 2, Phil's nothing, Cubs nothing. Mike Lieberthal leads off for the Phillies here in the 3rd of a 0-0 game. Lieberthal hitting at .263.
Talking to Brett Myers, probably mentioning something if somebody's on base as far as bunting, what he wants him to do.
1 strike to Lieberthal. Off the plate, 1 ball and 1 strike. And 2 strikes. Fires it foul. Over the Phillies dugout and out of play, and broke his bat on the foul ball. 2 and 2. It holds to Mike Lieberthal. Nothing game. We are in the 3rd inning. Line away. It's full count. 3 and 2 to Mike Lieberthal. So Lieberthal becomes the Phillies' first base runner. Time now for today's Citizens Bank Not Your Typical Fan. Each game will scan the crowd to find a fan or fans who set themselves apart from the rest. These aren't your typical fans. That's Brett Myers' dad, Phil, and his mom, Jan, girlfriend, Kim, here.
Well, starting early, Myers Maniacs for his major league debut here at Wrigley.
Not your typical fans, brought to you by Citizens Bank, not your typical bank. One strike to Marlon Anderson, who's hitting at .277. Strikes to Marlon. One and two. Marlon's still 6th in the league in hitting in day games, but he's tailed off considerably. He's hitting .356 in day games, where he's up there in the .380 bracket. Is this one out of play? In the front row of the upper deck just below us and caught by a fan. One and two to Marlon Anderson with Lieberthal at first, nobody out. Pokes it into center field, base hit. Mike Lieberthal will stop at second base. So the Phillies have their first 2 men on base here in the third, and Brent Myers will get his first major league at bat, and he'll try to get a sacrifice down.
Breaking ball. Marlon just went out and got it. That ball might have been off the plate. Right off the end of the bat, drops it into center.
Myers was swinging the bat pretty well at Scranton Wilkes-Barre. He hit .263. He did have 4 sacrifices, and he'll try to get a bunt down here. 1-0 to Myers. Strike. Off the pitch wide, 2-1.
A good eye by Myers. Not going after a pitch out of the zone.
I get the feeling he keeps looking down at John Vukovic, hoping they take the ball.
That's what it looks like, doesn't it?
He's fired up and would like to swing the bat. He bunts foul, and it's 2-2. Mike Lieberthal at second, Marlon Anderson at first. Still on. He bunts foul, so Myers is a strikeout victim. Second strikeout for Pryor.
He squares around. He's in pretty good position. He just tried to pull that bat back. Look how he tried to deaden it. Worried too much about deadening the ball. But this grass, the infield the way it is at Wrigley, you don't have to concern yourself too much with trying to deaden the ball. The grass will slow it up.
It'll bring up Doug Glanville. He grounded out his first time up. Missing with his breaking ball. 1 ball and no strikes. to center field. Patterson backtracks, makes the catch. Lieberthal will tag and move to third. Glanville hit pretty well, but caught by Patterson. Phillies have a few hard-hit balls off Pryor here this afternoon, but all of them have been caught. Saturday, August 3rd, when the Phillies take on the Dodgers at 1:15. The word's out. Nickelodeon's SpongeBob SquarePants is coming to a Phillies game. All fans 14 and under get a SpongeBob rally towel free. That'll be on August 3rd at 1:15. Order your tickets by calling 215-463-1000 or anytime online at Phillies.com. Jimmy Rollins flied out to deep center his first time up. To Rollins.
It's a case there where if Myers gets that bunt down, the Phillies have themselves a run and a lead.
Yeah. Well, certainly deep enough to score a runner from third base. 2 balls and no strikes. The high pitch, 3-0 to Rollins, with Bobby Abreu waiting on deck. Inside ball 4. He walked in to load the bases. The second walk given up by Pryor. So the Phillies had him loaded for Bobby Abreu, who struck out his first time up.
Not necessarily good news, however.
Now, what are the Phillies hitting at this point? The Phillies haven't had the bases loaded in a few games. They're hitting 170 with the bases loaded.
16 for 94.
It's a foul. 0-1 to Bobby Abreu.
Bobby, first pitch swinging. He had a pitch to hit. Fastball, a little above the knees, inner half.
And now have to become more of a defensive hitter. Bases are loaded with 2 outs.
Inside.
Just out of the plate. Yep. 1-2 to Abreu.
27 pitches already this inning for Pryor.
2-2. Stays alive with 2 balls and 2 strikes. Phillies with 2 walks here in the 3rd inning. Lead the league in getting walks. But Prairie Boys Club also leads the league in men left on base, tied with the Florida Marlins for men left on. Real fastball by him. Struck him out. Third strikeout for Pryor, and the Phillies lead and loaded. No runs, a hit, no errors, 3 men left. We go to the bottom half of the third inning. Phil's nothing, Cubs nothing. About Brett Myers tonight on Bo Uncensored. 1 strike to Alex Gonzalez. Gonzalez hitting at .233. He's the breaking ball foul, 0-2. One ball and 2 strikes. Being scored in the other National League day games. After 7, Cincinnati has 10. They lead Pittsburgh 10-5. Braves are crushing Florida 10-0. Wes Helms 4 for 4 with a home run. Damian Moss pitching that game for Atlanta. Wow. Struck him out. Second strikeout for Myers. 1 down here in the third. And it'll bring up Mark Pryor.
Good fastball to Gonzalez. He'd missed with the breaking ball before. Comes back with some good cheese right there. And right by Gonzalez.
Pryor is 4 for 17 as a hitter. All 4 of his hits have been doubles. 1 strike to Mark Pryor. Breaking ball a little bit high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, so far the young guns have established themselves as legitimate,
really,
phenoms. Myers and Pryor, both 21. Myers from Jacksonville, Florida. Pryor from California. Two balls and 2 strikes. Beats it foul. Still 2-2 to Pryor.
Imagine these two will lock up in some pretty good duels in the coming years.
3 straight strikeouts for Brett Myers. 2 down here in the third. Tuesday, July 30th, when the Phils return to Veterans Stadium, that'll be NASCAR night. Winston Cup driver Elliott Sadler and racing legend Cale Yarborough make appearances. There will be autograph signing sessions at the block party. Test your racing ability in a race car simulator belonging to Dale Jarrett and see the show cars of Jarrett and Sadler. That's Tuesday, July 30th against Barry Bonds and the Giants. 7:05. Order your tickets 215-463-1000 or anytime online at Phillies.com. Here's Mark Bellhorn. He popped up his first time up.
And before this ends, H, this will be our last inning together.
Oh, thank you,
Before you
pal.
head to the hall, congratulations.
Thank
I
you,
love
pal.
you, and
love you too, pal.
well deserved.
Thank you. Appreciate it. 1 ball and 1 strike here to Bellhorn. Just a little high. 2-1. Deep right field, out of here. Mark Bellhorn has the first hit surrendered surrendered by Myers. His 14th home run of the year, and it gives the Cubs a 1-0 lead. Number 14 for Bellhorn.
Myers got behind him in the count. Didn't want to walk him. He goes right after him. I'd rather see that. It won't be the last home run he gives up. He's got this fastball up and over the middle of the plate.
So the first major league hit surrendered by Brett Myers is a home run to Mark Bellhorn. 1-0 Cubs. Two balls and no strikes to Bill Miller, who walked his first time up. Ground ball, Travis Lee. Two Myers covering, and that will retire to side. The Cubs score first in this game on Bellhorn's homer. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, and none left. Chris Wheeler joins Larry Anderson in the 4th inning at the end of 3 here at Wrigley Field. It's the Cubs 1 and the Phils nothing.
Shoes. Miss Arizona at the ballpark today as the Cubs lead 1-0 heading to the 4th inning. Pat Burrell, Travis Lee, and Scott Rolen are coming up. Hard to tell that the wind's been blowing in this series. Most of the runs have come via the home run ball. Pryor's still not getting that borderline pitch. There's the man that's driven in the game's only tally so far. Mark Bellhorn manning his spot at second base. Mark misses high with ball 3. 3-0 your count.
Chip, talking earlier to Larry Bohr, and he talked about how much of an influence it has been on the teams since all the things that have happened with Scott Rolen. And I mean, it shows you just how much in disarray the Phillies are in and what it can do to take away from a ball club. And Scott does not like to talk about his impending contract situation, but it is a big distraction in the clubhouse, and I think that's one of the reasons why the Phillies are where they're at right now.
He couldn't stop himself. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and it's not like it's Roland's fault. I mean,
no, it's not.
And Larry Bowa said it's not the Phillies' fault. It's just the nature of the game now. A player has earned the right via collective bargaining to become a free agent, and if for whatever reason he wants to change addresses, he certainly has that right. The part that's unfortunate is that, as it usually happens, the money factor became known, and it's very difficult for anyone to understand how a player could turn down $90 million, $140 million, or whatever number in between that reportedly was or was not offered to Scott Rolen. Pat Burrell down on strikes.
Did we just strike out Pat Burrell?
We did.
No,
well, we didn't.
No, well, did Pryor just saw?
Mark Pryor did.
Man, look at that swing right there. He's looking for the fastball, and Pryor gives him the breaking ball outside. The body was willing, or the mind was willing, but the body wasn't.
That's it. Here's Travis Lee. He lined to SOSA in that 2nd inning. And the Cubs continue to climb the strikeout charts. Remember, they led baseball in strikeouts last year with a power bullpen.
Yes.
But the Roland situation, I mean, it's an unfortunate one. He says he wants to be happy. He's not happy in Philadelphia, and no amount of money is apparently going to make him happy. And where he ends up is anybody's guess right now. I'd be shocked, frankly, if they did trade him before the deadline. And Ed Wade, their general manager, has said they're content to play the season out and see where the situation takes them. Sammy and Corey got good jumps. Patterson makes the play. 2 out. And speak of the devil, here is Rolen. All I can tell you is this. He's a young man with a lot of power. He's a very good defensive third baseman. And he's going to look good wherever he ends up. And if it's not the Cubs, let's hope it's not somewhere else in this Central Division.
Chip, he was considered the franchise in Philadelphia, but I had a long talk with Dan Plesac earlier today, and Plesac was telling me, Joe, this guy is the real deal. I've always been a Scott Rolen fan. Why? Because, one, he plays the game hard. He never dogs on anything. He plays good, hard, fundamentally sound baseball, and he's one of those guys you call a gamer.
And this was one of Bobby Knight's recruits to play college basketball with the Hoosiers.
Oh, so he can jump too, huh?
Few can.
I wonder if you get a jump shot like our big dog in the truck, Mark Brady.
No, his is much better. 3 balls, no strikes to ROLEN, who is 2 out of 8 in this series. That paints the inside corner, and he was taken all the way. Phillies have had good luck in this ballpark. Hard to believe it. They're 16-10 in Chicago since the start of the 1996 season. And Pryor with his 3rd walk. Didn't walk anybody last time out.
And he's got 3 walks and 4 strikeouts so far in the afternoon. It's almost as if he's trying to find the strike zone. And one thing I look at, a pitcher, Roger Clemens would always keep a book, Chip, on not only the hitters, but on the umpires.
Sure.
And so that's what Mark Pryor is going through, because even though there's supposed to be a set strike zone, they don't always follow that. So every umpire is a little bit different. And so until Mark Pryor goes around the league one time, he's going to have to find out what those strike zones are for different umpires.
And the umpires, too. I don't know if they keep books on individual pitchers, but
no.
The more you're around this game, the more you're around. Yeah, right. The more you're around this game, obviously, the more familiar with its performers you become. And the umpires are no different. They don't know how Pryor's pitches break or what he likes to throw in certain situations, and that makes it difficult on the men in blue or gray or white or red.
But you know what? The thing is, I guarantee you, a lot of the umpires will go around and they will talk when they have a guy like Pryor pitching. They say, hey, man, wait till you get this guy Pryor over Chicago. He's going to be a good one back there. And you want to umpire against those guys.
1 ball, 1 strike to Mike Lieberthal. He walked back in the 3rd inning.
But you never want to be in the umpire's book, because the only time you get in that book is when you get thrown out. They got to write the report, so they got to take notes in that book.
Into left field. That's going to roll to the corner, and that's trouble. Alou cuts it off. Around to 3rd is ROLEN. They're going to wave it. Here's Alex's relay throw to the plate. It's in plenty of time. Little things in close games mean a lot. It's a double, but ROLEN thrown out. 7-6-2, and the Cubs still lead it here in the 4th. And Alex Gonzalez execute a relay play perfectly, and they gun down Scott ROLEN at the plate to keep it 1-0 in favor of the Cubs.
Chip, the thing that made this possible was the hustle of Moises Alou as he cuts the ball off, does not let it get to the wall, and Vukovic sending Scott ROLEN, who's running hard, but it was a good play by cutting it off. A great throw, and then Alex Gonzalez with the seed in there, and Scott ROLEN is toast.
So Sammy Sosa leads off the 4th inning. Cubs looking to extend a 1-0 lead. And you can't fault Vukovic for that play at 3rd base. You're forcing the defensive team to make 2 outstanding plays. 1 to cut it off, 2 to handle a tough, quick relay play. And the Cubs did it. And that's why they still have the lead.
Well, the old man, Moises Alou, cutting the ball off. And that's when you see the outfielder always take that short angle to cut the ball off. If you get to it, you can save a run. And that's exactly what happened.
Sosa, McGriff, and Alou coming up here in the 4th. Brett Myers throwing a gem. His lone mistake, a Mark Bellhorn solo home run. And that didn't miss by much. Wow. Tight strike zone from Marvin Hudson today.
Well, these 2 young pitchers are consistently hitting the outside corner, but Marvin Hudson has yet to call an outside pitch, and that's where you go back and say, look, he's not calling the outside pitch.
Rollins at short, has to hurry, and he got Sosa by a step. 1 up, 1 down for McGriff, who brings a 4-game hit streak to play today.
But Sammy right here, Myers went away with the fastball, then came with the breaking ball up and in, and had Sammy really been looking for that pitch, that's the pitch he hit out. But Sammy could only muster a ball up the middle. And Rollins, shortstop, making a good play on a ball that stayed down with that slow grass here at Wrigley.
That one popped back foul and out of play. And that is strike 1. Fred McGriff is the subject of our Illinois Lottery fun fact today. And This is game number 144 since joining the Cubs. Look at those numbers. How well has he hit the ball?
Well, he has been on a tear since the first month and a half of the season.
The only Cub first baseman with a 30-homer, 100 RBI season is Ernie Banks. That was in 1962. And McGriff this year with 21 homers and 70 RBIs. You've got, what, 63 games left. He's got a shot to do it in a single calendar season.
Right, exactly. And with him coming over last year from Tampa Bay, you add the 2 half seasons up and you come up with the whole one. The prime dog still showing at the ripe old age of what, 45, 50? Oh, I'm sorry, about mid 30s, 36, 37. And he can still put some numbers up. 15th consecutive year. He's had 20 or more home runs. Tied with Barry Bonds, so most by active players.
Count even 2-2. Bases clear, 1 out. And McGriff on the ground towards second. Marlon Anderson makes quick work of Fred. And it's 2 up and 2 men down here in the 4th. Same 2 teams battle in the season wrap-up tomorrow. Carlos Zambrano against Brandon Duckworth. Joe and I will be in our customary perch behind home plate in the WGN booth.
We won't be in center field?
We will not be in center field. And the award-winning leadoff man comes your way at 1 o'clock. Then it's off to St. Louis.
Is that like the significance of the Oriole bird there?
Words escape me, Joe. 1 ball, no strikes to Alou. That one misses inside. It's now 2-0.
What were they spelling anyway?
I think they were spelling Cubs, but I'm not sure they got the letters in the right order.
Somewhere in the vicinity, huh?
Yeah, well, close enough. That's right. Alou fouls that one straight back. 2 balls and a strike. Reds over Pittsburgh 10-5 now, heading to the top of the ninth. And Alou swings and misses. It's 2-2. Corey Patterson waits next, but Alou's got to reach. Cubs 10-9 this month. 8-4 since the break, 9-5 under Bruce Kim, and that does not count 1 game managed by Rene Lachemann in Atlanta.
Well, that pitch right there brings back memories for Moises Alou, and really memories he doesn't want to see, because it was the last game we did here, Chip, when he got hit in the right elbow on a check swing, and you can see the foul ball very close to the same exact spot.
But Myers continues to throw strikes. He's got a 1-hitter working through 4. Bad news for him is Mark Bellhorn has given the Cubs a 1-run lead. Would-be professional broadcasters, there's some things you need to know about the business that your professors probably will not tell you. That is our intern Mike, and that is his left arm. Now, in our business, a producer will tell you that you cannot do a broadcast without what we call a mic flag, without a logo, and without banners. Well, before the game today, Mike and Mark Brady, as that ball whacked into straightaway center field by Marlon Anderson, 1 man down, they were out helping us get set at our table here in right field, hanging the banner during Cubs batting practice. Well, if you ever get an internship at a television station, youngsters, never have your back turned to the field of play during batting practice, because bad things can happen.
That's right.
Mike got hit on the elbow by a Sammy Sosa fly ball. It hit him right on the funny bone. He felt woozy. He passed out and hit his head. But he's gamely back at work, and there is the bruise to show it. So, Mike, job well done.
He said, I got all 107 stitches on his elbow, and then the knot on the forehead.
And how good am I going? We come back to break. Bob Vorwald, our executive producer, brings you a lemonade. He brings me an American Express bill. What's up with that?
Chip.
That's great. Thanks, Bob. Great to see you.
The thing about Mike, though, after the ball, somebody steps on him and takes the ball from him. So not only did he get hit, but he didn't even get the ball.
But he's got a heck of a lawsuit, I'm sure. Just kidding. 2 outs here in the 5th inning. And back to the top we go.
That's because I already paid my insurance bill.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, they're coming to get you.
Yeah, well, c'est la vie. Glanville 0 for 2 today. He's grounded out and he has flied out on the afternoon. Cubs leading on an absolutely gorgeous afternoon. 1-0 our score. Phillies 2 hits, Cubs only 1. And both these pitchers have been as good as advertised today, Joe.
Well, they have. Both teams are kind of filling each other out, and because they've never faced them, you may see a little bit of difference here the third time around as we go through the lineup.
One hopper to third. Bill Miller takes care of Glanville, and Pryor has an easy 1-2-3 fifth. He's qualified for the win. The Cubs bats got to give him a little more of a cushion. It's 1-0. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Cubs leading by a 1-0 score. Here in the 5th frame, Patterson, Hundley, and Alex Gonzalez are coming up against Brett Myers, the Philly rookie, making his major league debut today, and he's thrown great.
See, Chip, I just want to prove to you I did play for the Cubs.
They had baseball back then. Patterson retired, and that's out number 1.
Well, right there. See, that's the rookie card for the in the Cub uniform. You see the ivy in the background. I did play here at Wrigley. I did.
Nice sideburns, by the way.
Hey, sideburns were in back then.
Yeah, well, that's right. So were zippered boots. I don't see you wearing those either. 1 out. Here's Hundley. Todd caught looking. Off-speed pitch got him his first time up. And there's the strike. What do you think that card's worth on eBay? Two quick strikes to Todd. Swung on it high in the air, left center field, pretty deep. That one playable though for Doug Glanville, the former Cub. And quickly there are 2 men out. Alex Gonzalez will be the batter before he hits. We'll step aside and tell you what's coming up on WGN.
This is WGN Superstation.
Here's Gonzalez.
You asked me how much my card was worth?
Yeah.
No, it's at least $20,000.
Thanks for telling me.
That's in pesos.
You said dollars. I mean, if it was yen, I might believe you. Anthony's strike 2 to Gonzalez. And down on strikes is Gonzalez. That's 5 punch outs for Myers. And it's 1-0 Cubs here at Wrigley Field in Chicago. Good young pitchers on display today, and neither Myers nor Pryor have disappointed. They've allowed merely 3 hits between them, and the Cubs have the only run.
Boy, they have been throwing dynamic. Myers only walked 1 guy, 5 strikeouts. Pryor's walked 3 guys, but he's gotten out of a jam, and the only mistake has been the home run to Mark Bellhorn.
Rollins leads things off. Two balls and a strike. Times like this, Joe, you can get awfully dehydrated out in the bleachers. You've got to drink plenty of fluids, plenty of water. Cranberry juice always goes down good on a hot summer day. Water's good.
Yeah.
And David McCaskill of Harry Carey's restaurant, kind enough to head to the concession stand for us and get us some refreshments here.
You mean
one thing about David, though, he knows how many hot dogs you can buy for $50. Unlike some people. Lead off walk.
What's that other guy, that Magnum Cum Laude?
You know how
let's
Jackson,
add that up.
Yeah, you know how Phil Jackson gave his players nicknames. We're going to have to give Dave Otto one. The Big Confused. Here's Abreu. He struck out swinging twice today. The last time very painful for the Phillies. Or he did that with the bases loaded back in inning number 3. Cubs by a run. Phillies hanging around, but Pryor throwing very good baseball today as well.
And this is where you got to keep an eye on Jimmy Rollins. Although he struggles at the top of the order, he's still a very good base runner and with tremendous speed. So Mark Pryor in a 1-0 ball game here in the top of the 6th. This game is going by fast, Chip.
Rollins was 2 for 26 after the first inning, and he's walked twice today. So you're asking for trouble, especially with the next 3 men coming up. 2 balls, no strikes. First final is in. Cincinnati victorious. They hammer the Pirates 10-5 today. We'll try to find out if indeed Brian Moeller figured in the decision for Cincinnati. He was scheduled to start, and he gave up a 4-run first. That's downstairs and away, and now you got real problems. If I'm the Phillies, I let Abreu swing here if it's close. 3-0.
Well, Mark Pryor is really worried about Jimmy Rollins at first base, and when you pay too much attention to the runner instead of the hitter, you find yourself in trouble. Now with a 3-0 count, you can ill afford just to lay one in there thinking that he may be taken, because he's got 2 home runs in the last 2 days here in Wrigley, and it could be 3 if you just lay one in there. So Mark Pryor, you got to be careful. This is a situation Bobby Abreu likes to be in.
3-0. He was taken. Again, Abreu's homered here the last 2 games. He's never homered back to back to back in 3 straight major league ball games in his career. And Pryor 1 walk away from a career high of 5. Be careful with this pitch. 3-1. Swing and a high fly ball lazily hit toward left. Alou gives chase near the stands and runs out of room. So Mark's battle back to a full count at 3-2. Tell you what, it's really remarkable that Pryor's pitched as well as he has with a 4-2 record. This Cub team has given him less than 3 runs a game with which to work. So you win 4 out of 6 decisions with no run support. That tells you how good his stuff is.
Yeah, he's got, I mean, a good fastball. He throws a curveball, 2 different speeds, and then the changeup, so he can be successful with any pitch.
Runner goes, pitch high, ball 4. It's 5 walks, 2 in a row, and Burrell the hitter. And you are in a mess, Mr. Pryor. 84 pitches for Mark, and Burrell, Lee, and Rolen are coming up for the Phillies.
And Larry Rothschild are going to come out and have a talk with Mark Pryor to settle the youngster down, because he's coming up in a situation. You've walked the first 2 guys, and now Burrell, Lee, Rolen, like you said, Chip, very dangerous part of the order in a 1-0 ball game. You talk about being in some pretty good company. In July, 144 Maddox, Shelley, and sandwiched in between is Mark Pryor.
And this is not surprising that Philadelphia has taken such a patient approach. You can win a lot of bar bets by asking this simple question: which National League team leads the league in walks? It's the Phillies. That's the good news for them. Bad news for Philly fans is they also lead the league in men left on base.
LOB.
So they're getting a ton of chances and just have not been able to consistently drive in big runs. Phillies this year, in fact, have been outscored by nearly 40 runs in the first 99 games of the year. So 2 men are on with nobody out, and Burrell takes a strike. Burrell with 50 extra base hits this year, 25 of them home runs. And he's knocked in 3 in the first 2 games of this series. Cubs executed a great relay play in the 4th inning to keep the Phillies off the board. Double steal is on, the pitch low and away, and no chance for Hundley. So Rollins with his 18th steal, Abreu with his 19th, and now a hit puts Philly in front.
Well, the Phillies picked the right time to do the old double steal, because it was a breaking ball from Mark Pryor. And usually when you get 1 strike, a pitcher will go to that breaking ball. Larry Boyd realizing that, put the double steal on, being aggressive and making something happen.
Threw that right past him. And Burrell, a 1-2 count. This guy, though, really has matured as a hitter, hasn't he?
Well, he has matured as a hitter, man. And it goes back to when you first start out, there's things you're experimenting with, but it's about feeling comfortable at the plate and comfortable around your surroundings, and Pat Burrell does that.
Pryor's got him in a 1-2 hole. The pitch. Got it past him. Burrell strikes out. If there is a hole in his game, it's the hole in the swing. Burrell will strike out a lot. That's the 94th time in 356 at bats.
Boy, you have to love what you see from Mark Pryor here. He threw him 3 fastballs, the last 2 up in the zone. As we take a look, the Southwest Plain view camera, strikeout number 6, and this ball was rising. One thing people are surprised about, Chip, is the velocity that Mark Pryor has at the end. When you have a good fastball that explodes the last 5 to 10 feet, you're going to be successful as Flash Gordon starts to loosen up, just in case in the Cub bullpen.
Well, here's another spot where Mark would love a strikeout. Travis Lee, though, a pretty good contact hitter. And a good rip. And he's down 2 strikes. Lee line to right, fly to center. A fly ball of any depth is probably going to score Rollins. He can really fly over at third base. Abreu's got good speed, too. A single. They might wave him around as well. Cubs by a run on a Bellhorn homer. Phillies, with only 2 hits on the day, have gotten 5 walks and have left 4 men on base.
Well, he's got Travis Lee in a hole, 1-2. You know, 0-2 he came up with the fastball outside. You all right, partner?
Great. You're great. Better than you know.
Oh, nothing like a nice liquid.
A little lemonade out here in the bleachers. White Sox getting crushed 8-0 in the 5th. Minnesota just put a 5 spot on the board.
I think Torrey Hunter may have something to do with that. What do you think?
Bruce Springsteen song comes to mind with the White Sox. 1 step up, 2 steps back. Big win for them yesterday, and they're taking it on the chin today. The pitch to Lee. Swing and a pop-up. Will that one stay in play for Miller near the Cub dugout? He's over there, leans up, and can't make the play. Another couple feet, and he's got it. So Lee gets a break. Friendly confines, just big enough.
Well, with that wind blowing in from center field, it blew this ball up into the stands, and Bill Miller, the ball almost came back. You can see Sandy Alomar kind of getting out of the way. Sandy, you're supposed to stay there in case he falls in there and you catch him.
Downstairs, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Toronto and Baltimore scoreless in the 4th. Everything else in the American League later on tonight. The other National League final is in. Braves beat Florida 10-0. That was a national game on ESPN. I'll bet that was a lot of fun to do.
That was real quick, too.
That was over early. Lee hits a rope deep to right. Sammy on the run, backtracks. He'll make the catch. Tagging from third and scoring will be Rollins. And finally, the Phillies cash in one of Pryor's 5 walks. Lee with his 37th RBI ties the game 1-1. Abreu to third with 2 out.
Walks will always kill you, and Mark Pryor with the 2 leadoff walks, and Travis Lee plates the Jimmy Rollins as he scores easily. He wanted to come inside, but a left-handed hitter always likes the ball chipped down in the end. That ball was down the strike zone. Travis Lee putting good wood on it, getting a sacrifice fly, and now we're all tied up 1-1.
First base open. You've got ROLEN, then you've got Lieberthal. ROLEN digs in, and he hits a rocket to right. Sammy got a good jump. He slows. He's there. And the inning is over. Phillies get a run without benefit of a hit. 2 walks, a double steal, and a sac fly ties the game here in the top of the 6th. And you know, Joe, an easy and healthy way to limit your caloric intake is to drink 4 half-liter bottles of water per day. So that water bottle could come very much in handy on a hot summer day here in Chicago.
You know what? I'm glad you told me that tip.
Pryor's going to hit for himself as we head to the 6th inning. Mark struck out his first time, and Myers, new life, 1-1 our score for the Cub pitcher leading off.
Well, Mark Pryor with 96 pitches, and Bruce Kim and the Cubs, they've always kind of kept him, you know, right at that 100 to 115 pitch limit, but now hitting here for himself in the bottom of the 6th. And it's 1-1 ball game.
It's not like he's thrown poorly. He's thrown a very good game. 96 pitches, only 2 hits allowed, but Unfortunately,
different strike zone.
The base on balls has been problematic for him. He's walked 5 men after walking 3 in his last 3 starts combined. And in case you wondered what Pryor's major league pitch count high is, it's 124 out in Seattle. Rollins at short will make quick work of him. 1 away in the 6th. Hey, we're getting closer to Peter Frampton time. He'll guest conduct our 7th inning stretch from our perch behind home plate in the Wrigley Field press box.
Well, you know, I saw him up there early getting the guitar and stuff ready. He's going to play and sing too. He can play a little bit.
8 straight retired by Myers after the Bellhorn home run. And again, that's the only hit the Cubs have today. And it's amazing when you look at this Cubs record this season when facing performers pitching against the Cubs for the first time. Eye-popping numbers compiled by our associate producer Mark Brady. Watch this when it pops on your screen.
Boy, 16 times they faced the guy in the first time they faced the Cubs, their first appearance. They're 5-11, Chip. The thing is, when you have a veteran ball club, youngsters coming in and pitching against a veteran ball club, all of a sudden it's based on being familiar with the pitcher, and they're not familiar, so it takes them a while to get used to it. By the time they're used to it, the game's over with.
A ball and a strike to the man that has the Cubs' lone hit today, Mark Bellhorn. He slashes that one deep to left. Burrell giving ground in the corner, reaches up. Good play. 9 up, 9 down. Bellhorn gave it a ride, but is retired for out number 2.
Well, that's what you like about Mark Bellhorn. Not only does he have tremendous power to right field, but he can hit the ball good the other way. And this time going to left field. The wind kind of held that up as Pat Burrell runs it down.
Base is empty for Bill Miller. He's walked. In fact, Miller's the only other Cub to reach base today. And a roller to Travis Lee. Myers does his job, and the Cubs are out very easily. 10 men up, 10 men down, and we go to the 7th inning very quickly. Our game tied 1 apiece. The 7th inning already. I mean, this has been just a magnificently pitched game. 1-1 our score. And the Phillies come up with Lieberthal, Anderson, and Myers against Mark Pryor, who's closing in on the 100 pitch mark. You know, this year in the National League, you've really got 2 great races. The one in the National League West, and I'm speaking division-wise. Arizona by 2.5 over the Dodgers. The Giants are 3 games back. In the National League Central, the Cardinals now 4 games ahead of Cincinnati, with the Reds' victory in the books already today. The other great race all of a sudden now is turning into the wild card race, where you've got 4 teams separated by only 4.5 games. And the team that's 4.5 out might surprise you. It's one that I think a lot of people have forgotten about, and that's the New York Mets. The Mets are 4.5 back with a 52-48 record. Down on strikes is Lieberthal. That's 7 for Pryor, 1 away.
And Chip, when you talk about the wild card, all of a sudden the Mets, because of I think one guy in particular who's starting to heat up, and that's Mo Betta. Mo Vaughn is really heating up, and he's carrying his ball club. Robbie Allen, one of those guys, are coming together at the right particular time.
They've got some good pitching too. The Reds are 3 back, Giants a half back. If it ended today, the Dodgers would be the wild card team, and it stands to reason the National League West is going to be where the wild card comes from, unless the Mets just have an incredibly torrid second half, which they're very capable of doing.
Yes, they have. And somehow, some way, Bobby Valentine is always fighting for his job there in New York, and it's always the second half of the season. They put that rush on. The last 2 years they've done that. Last year they fell a little bit short, but the year before that, the Subway Series, along with the Yankees. Well, you
Anderson,
never know.
the batter, lines that one to left center field. Patterson as far as he can go, and Marlon Anderson has hit a solo home run. A career 200 hitter here in Chicago. He's 2 for 3 today, and a solo home run puts the Phillies in front.
Well, you talk about Marlon Anderson having a very productive year down in that 8th slot, and when you have the pitcher hidden behind Marlon Anderson, you don't want to give him too many good things to hit, but right there, his 6th home run of the season, and he kept his ball below radar as it flew into the basket. Their fastball that tailed away from Mark Pryor, his middle of his about belt high. And you saw Marlon Anderson rocking back and stand back on the ball.
Ooh. His first career home run at Wrigley Field. It's his 6th of the year. And now Brett Myers a chance to win this game. Well, what a debut he's having. He could throw a one-hitter at Wrigley and win the game. That's how dominating he has been.
Well, if you take a look, there's no action in the Philly bullpen, and Myers hitting for himself. And why not? He is throwing the ball extremely well.
That's 8 strikeouts. Pryor takes care of the pitcher. You'll remember Carlton Lower a couple of years ago threw a gem in his debut against the Cubs. So Phillies are paying us back for taking Ferguson Jenkins from him so many years ago, it would appear.
That was a long time ago. Fergie ended up being a pretty good pitcher, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yes. All the way from Chatham, Ontario.
So 2 outs, 1 in. Doug Glanville, the batter, and he loops a single into center field. That's 4 Philly hits on the day. And Jimmy Rollins, the batter, and before he comes up, let's pause for station identification.
This is WGN Superstation.
There he is, Ferguson Jenkins, one of the all-time greats in the history of Major League Baseball.
Good man. We call him Pops. Rightfully so. Just a great human being.
And the runner goes. No throw by Todd Hundley. Doug Glanville steals his 9th base of the year. The Phillies taking liberties on the base paths today.
Well, with the combination of Pryor and Hundley, the Phillies back in the last half inning went with the double steal with Jimmy Rollins and Bobby Abreu and was successful. And now with 2 outs, first pitch, Doug Glanville off and running.
This year, the Philadelphia Phillies have done a lot of damage late against the Cubs. They have scored 13 runs after the 6th inning in the first 5 games, including today.
And Chip, I think that has to do a lot with their manager, Larry Boy. I mean, here's the guy that wears his emotions on his sleeves. I mean, you always see exactly what he's feeling like. He's very emotional, but he's always constantly in the dugout saying, come on, guys, let's go. Let's get something. Let's get something. Let's believe in ourselves. And when you have a manager in there pumping you up all the time, a lot of times you come through.
But the other thing about Larry Boy is, too, if things aren't going well, he's not afraid to chew out a big piece of your backside, too. And some players don't respond well to that either.
Well, the players of the 21st century, Chip. And, you know, some players are not like that, but Larry Boy is old school. And he, no matter what he says or does, I mean, he's got your best interest at heart. He wants to see you play well and do it consistently.
Line drive to Bellhorn at second, and that'll retire the side. 2-1, Philadelphia has the lead, and now a real treat. We'll be rock and roll serenaded by rock legend Peter Frampton.
Hello, Chicago! Do you feel like I do? So, you know this better than I do. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I never come back, 'cause run for the cup is the day. Don't win is the shame. It's 1, 2, 3 strikes around the field. Oh, yeah, it's the going home without you. Yeah.
Bottom of the 7th inning, and let's hope that Peter Frampton's rendition of "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" will induce Sosa to crack one here. He could tie the game. And Peter, you're seeing a heck of a pitching duel. Ground ball to second, and that takes care of Sosa for out number 1. Hey, nice job singing the stretch. Was that at all like the Frampton Comes Alive experience for you?
Yes, it was. It's a great honor to be able to do something like that. I see all the people that have done it, and it's special for an English chap to do something like this. Very nice.
Peter, do you feel more comfortable and and safe now where you at compared to where you were a few minutes ago out here with us?
I guess so. I mean, the thing was, it was great to be out there in amongst the fans there, and hearing. It's always nice to hear your name shouted out.
Yeah, unless it's a policeman calling your name, huh?
Yeah, no, I don't want that. No,
exactly.
No, thank you.
Fred McGriff, the batter, he's 0 for 2 on the day and has a 4-game hit streak on the line. Here at Wrigley Field, we're visiting with rock legend Peter Frampton as Fred takes the ball low. Peter, take a trip down memory lane for us. For those of us who are, well, a lot younger than we are now, and I guess that includes you too. What was that experience like, that album Frampton Comes Alive, and the entire concert experience and the career experience that you experienced?
That I experienced, yes.
Right. Thank you. Department of Redundancy Department is.
I'm very experienced.
Yes, thank you.
No, it was obviously no one expected what happened. So it's been, I've been blessed with, first of all, with all the bands I was with before, including Humble Pie. I mean, I had a very, I was a lucky guy. I know I play a good guitar, but you got to count some luck in there, and I write a pretty decent song now and again. So it's been, when Frampton Comes Alive hit, I think that no one really expected anything at all like what happened. So it just amazes me that we're over 25 years later and people are still going out and buying it and telling me how much it meant to them in their life.
Now, Peter, we know that you play the guitar very well. We'll take a look at you in Detroit. But are you a good teacher? And if you are, can you teach my partner a few more chords on the guitar?
Yes, I can, actually, because I got to teach Billy Crudup in Almost Famous, Cameron Crowe's movie, and I was his guitar teacher in that film. So,
well, there's hope after all, Peter. I appreciate the offer, and maybe I'll take it up on you sometime down the road. Best of luck with the new CD, and thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me here, guys. This has been a blast for all of us.
Well, the pleasure was ours. Peter Frampton, and we're through 7 here in Chicago. Saw a great play by Scott Rolen a second ago to end the Cubs' 7th. Now to the 8th we go with Flash Gordon replacing Mark Pryor, and Bobby Abreu leads things off for Philadelphia. Abreu, Burrell, and Lee are the Philly hitters, and they are 0 for 8 combined today. Pryor threw very well. The one blemish for him, walks, 5 of them on the day. 1 of them scored. He also gave up a home run. But the story of this day, not anything the Cubs have done, but what Brett Myers has done in his major league debut. He's thrown a 1-hitter through 7 today.
Well, Chip, he has thrown the ball extremely well, and he had to kind of battle the butterflies there the first couple of innings, but after that, he has settled down, and the Cubs cannot find any kind of consistency against this young man, and you see why he was a 12th pick overall in the '99 draft. He is phenomenal.
Yeah, his first warm-up pitch went to the screen.
Well, he's just like, okay, get it out of your system now, huh?
It sure has worked that way, and Flash Gordon comes in, issuing a base on balls. And look at the play by Scott Rolen. Offensively, Joe, it's been a down year for him, but there's nothing wrong with this guy's glove.
Well, that's why I say I love him, because he comes to play, and if he's not doing it offensively, he can do it defensively. A good play on Moises Alou to his left, a good scoop by Travis Lee, and the Cubs go down 1-2-3 in the 7th.
Runner at first for Burrell. He's 0 for 3 on the day. He struck out his last 2 times up, that against Pryor. And these are starting to become even more important outings for guys like Flash Gordon and other performers in his situation in the rest of Major League Baseball. Trade deadline 1 week from today. Don't know if the Cubs will draw any interest from Gordon. There apparently is some from around Major League Baseball. But he's got to pitch well and pitch frequently enough to prove to people that he's back in 100%.
Right, and that's been the biggest thing with Flash Gordon. He's been hurt the last 3 or 4 years after having that great year, I believe, in '98 with the Red Sox. And so as you get down to the trade deadline, when you have 2 closers on your roster, now Fonseca and also Flash Gordon, something could possibly happen. So he's really on exhibition here, on exhibit, as to how he's pitching. But right now he's getting behind the count. And you can't do that, because then they look for the fastball.
Well, any team that's got Jose Mesa in the bullpen gives you hope, and that's not a total knock on him, but he's blown 7 saves this year, so keep it close, and maybe that Philly pen will self-destruct for the second time in this series. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Pat Burrell. He's got 25 homers. The Philly team record is 48. He's got a shot at it this year.
Right now, I don't think there'll be too much action in that Philly bullpen. The way Brett Myers is pitching, he may try to go out there and go the distance. And you know Larry Boyd would love for that to happen. Give that bullpen a rest.
And Myers, with only 86 pitches through 7 innings, has a great shot. The only problem is it's all downhill from there. You can't do much better than he's done today. Pitch out. No. Just a wide pitch. 3 balls, 2 strikes. You've got Abreu at first. Now Burrell. A 3-2 count. Gordon and Hundley the battery. Larry Boaz put his men in motion a lot here in the latter innings of this game. Does he do it here in the 8th with nobody out?
Well, Flash Gordon is not really that fast to home, and because Hundley does not throw very good, he has improved his throw in the last few games that we've seen him, Chip. But you may see Bobby Abreu off and running here.
He's going. Pitch is low. Ball 4. 2 straight walks to open up the 8th inning. Cannot defend the base on balls, and the Cubs have walked 7 Philly hitters today.
Well, it seems like the same thing Mark Pryor went through with that outside corner. He was not getting the outside corner. And now as Flash Gordon comes into the game, 3-2, he went to the fastball outside, still did not get it. And Marvin Hudson, I mean, he is not calling that outside pitch. He's been very consistent throughout the whole afternoon.
So no crying about it now here in the 8th inning. And this is a point that Sandy Alomar made about this Cub team last year. He said sometimes players today watch the game, but they don't observe the game. And that's a very subtle difference, but that comes to play in a situation like we're facing now.
Well, not only do you have to observe the game, but really Todd Hundley should know that right now. All of a sudden, he has to know exactly what Hudson is calling and what he's not calling. So if he's not giving the outside corner 3-2, you don't want to venture too far out there, because if his borderline is going to be a ball, and has been a ball all afternoon.
Travis Lee had a sacrifice fly in the 6th inning that tied the game after an identical situation in the 6th. 2 leadoff walks led to the first Philly run.
It seems like deja vu, but hopefully the Cubs can find some way to keep this game at a 2-1 disadvantage.
If you can get Lee to hit the ball on the ground, you can turn 2. He doesn't run well.
But right now the Cubs not only had to stop this Philly rally, but they've got to find a way to solve Brett Myers. Myers has only given up 1 hit, and that was a home run to Mark Bellhorn.
There's the ground ball right at Bellhorn, and he missed it. Abreu around third, comes home to score. Ball took a big hop, and Bellhorn played it right near his face, and he missed it. And Travis Lee is aboard along with Burrell, and the Phillies now have a 2-run lead.
The thing is, when you have top spin on the ball, as Travis Lee had, he drove in a run the last time with a sacrifice fly, but now he comes up, he gets a fastball down, he turns on it, and Bellhorn playing a little bit shallower, close to turn 2. And that ball was hit right to him. Should have been a double play, but the ball came up.
And that scored a hit. It was sharply hit. But frankly, I thought Mark should have made that play. So Lee has 2 RBIs. The Phillies a 2-run lead. And more problems. ROLEN with men at the corners and still nobody out. Cub bullpen busy. Jeff Facero gets up for the first time.
And Chip, because they were playing double play depth, Bellhorn was playing in about 3 or 4 steps closer. And really, that was the difference right there, because like you said, I thought the ball should have been called right to him. Took a big hop, but it was still playable.
Infield has to come in now for the Cubs with ROLEN up. That's not a fun prospect. And he takes strike 1. ROLEN has flied out twice. He's walked once. That's the big line score today. 7 bases on balls issued by the Cubs. 2 of them have scored in a 3-1 Philly game. They just keep scoring in and after the 6th inning. It's amazing.
Well, there's something to look forward to. When you get the reputation as a team that will do that, you look forward to that situation because you know that you're capable of doing it. You've had success, so you look forward to those innings.
2 balls and a strike. By the way, in that Atlanta, Florida game, Damian Moss and Albie Lopez combined on a 1-hitter for the Braves. Phillies have a 1-hitter working today. 2 balls and a strike. Flash Gordon to Rolen, and it's ball 3. Hundley saved a run with a good stop to his right. And this is what pitchers coming off the DL have to deal with. One day the stuff is there, one day it's not. It takes some time for him to find that rhythm and release point again.
And Chip, I mean, you can go on rehab as long as you want, but until you get game time experience in the big leagues in pressure situations, you don't know how that arm is going to react. And Flash Gordon is going through that, trying to gain some consistency. But because he's a guy that loves to pitch every day. He's not a young guy anymore, but he's a hard worker, and he's battled back through injuries throughout his career, and you give him credit because he has battled back when a lot of guys would have given up, and he has not done that. But right now he's just looking for a lot of game experience and to get in the flow of things.
Full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Will Lee be running here with no one out? He's got a good lead from first. They've got Burrell over at third, representing a huge run for the Phillies. They lead it 3-1. Lee not running, and the pitch cut on and missed. First and third, 1 out. Rollins down on strikes, and Lieberthal, the catcher, bats next.
Well, it's always a game of ifs, and if Mark Bellhorn had caught that tailor-made double play ball, the Cubs would have been out of the inning. As they take a look from the southwest plain view, on the outside corner, Scott Rolen having to protect the plate. Goes fishing a little bit.
But as a friend of mine used to say, if wishes were horses, beggars would ride, and it doesn't work out that way. You walk 7 men. If you strike out 9, that's great, but those walks are going to come back and cause problems. Here's Lieberthal. He has one of the Phillies' hits on the day. He too has walked, and he too has struck out. So his 3 appearances have covered the gamut offensively in today's game. And now the Philly bullpen starts to work as a very long 8th inning is still underway. They might go ahead and get the kid out of there with a big lead.
Well, Carlos Silva.
Hot shot. That's into left field for a base hit. Burrell scores. Lee will stop at second. Lieberthal, a 2-hit game, drives in his 35th. And the 2 Gordon walks come back to roost. 5 walks in the game, 3 of them score. First and second, still 1 out.
Chip, Mike Lieberthal has had some good at-bats this afternoon. Bruce Kim is going to come in, and that may be it for Flash Gordon.
Jeff Fassero is going to get the summons out of the bullpen, and he'll face Marlon Anderson and then the pitcher's spot here in the 8th inning. Poor outing for Flash Gordon. 2 runs are in, 2 men are on, there's 1 out, and the Phillies have jumped out to a 4-1 8th inning lead. "4-1 Phillies have the lead as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Beautiful sun-splashed day at the friendly confines. Before we tell you about Jeff Fassero's season, we'll step aside and tell you what's coming up later on WGN.
This is WGN Superstation.
You guys always say the Tribune Company's cheap. Jeff Fassero is on in relief of Flash Gordon, and we've said it a couple of times, Joe, since Flash has come off the DL. When you know he's back, he'll really start getting that curveball over for strikes, and right now he just has not been able to do it consistently enough. And the Phillies, knowing that, took advantage with a couple of walks and a couple of runs, and now it's up to Fassero to stop the bleeding.
Chip, in order for Flash to be successful, he has a good fastball, 94, 95 miles per hour. But what sets his fastball up is that big curveball, and that's something we have not seen. And when you talk about a guy coming back off of elbow surgery, and in his arm, he's very reluctant to really snap that ball. And he had tremendous torque on his elbow as he threw the breaking ball. So he really hasn't let it quite go yet. And when you don't have that good breaking ball, your fastball is not as good.
And the velocity, low 90s. Still good enough, but not what we've seen from Flash in appearances past with the Cubs. So now it's Jeff Fassero with big trouble on base for Philadelphia. 2 men on, 1 man out. And Marlon Anderson, the hitter, he's 2 for 3. The lower portion of the Philly order has done a nice job today. Ground ball toward third. Miller steps on the back, throws to first in time, double play. And that retires the side. A 5-3 twin killing ends the 8th inning. But the Phillies add to their total. 2 runs off Gordon makes it 4-1 in the bottom of the 8th. Hey, we need to clean up in aisle 7.
Well,
one thing about the bleachers, Joe, you have to have eyes in the back of your head, because when the paying customers come back with an adult malt beverage, you can't be swinging your arms out because the rest of us pay the price.
Chip, that was the first time I'm a rookie. You know, it's my first year in right field, so I didn't know the rules. You didn't explain the rules to me.
Especially because now beer sales are off. We're in the 8th inning. This poor lady's going to be thirsty the rest of the day.
Oh, I feel so bad.
Boy, how inconsiderate. So here we go. First pitch swinging, line drive Patterson into center field. And that is out number 1 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Cubs only 1 hit today, and 14 straight men have been retired. The lone man with a hit is Mark Bellhorn's 2-out solo home run in the 3rd inning.
Well, so far, Brett Myers has done a tremendous job. He's kept the Cubs off balance, and with the wind blowing in, that's the way you like to have your Major League debut in Wrigley Field, and he has been equal to the task.
There's a line drive into the right field corner. Abreu can't get that. Todd Hundley around first is on his way to second, and there's your second Cub hit of the day. So Myers retired 14 straight before Hundley doubles for the 5th time this year.
And Todd Hundley, a 3rd time around, he was 0 for 2, but he takes the first pitch fastball. Myers trying to get ahead, and Hundley tomahawks one in the right field corner for a double. And now Larry Bowa, that may be it for the youngster, and why not? Because this way, Chip, he won't be able to get another decision or a loss if he takes him out right now.
Larry Bowa's going to let him go. He's only thrown 88 pitches today.
Well, and that's the thing, but right now it seems like he's got 2 fastballs. There was a hard hit ball by Corey Patterson the first pitch, and then Todd Hundley with the line drive double, so they may be figuring him out just a little bit.
Alex Gonzalez has swung and missed twice today, so he's 0 for 2. And a ground ball hit to ROLEN at 3rd. That won't advance the runner. 2 men out. I'm glad we're not going to see this guy till next year, because he's got a real good idea of how to pitch. He's worthy of the praise the Phillies have lauded to him. And also mentioned it earlier, one thing about Myers, they say in Philadelphia, he is not at all afraid. He is not worried at all about the opposition. He just goes after people.
And Chip, you've got to have enough poise and presence on the mound and confidence in your ability to go out there and pitch. And if you're #1 draft pick and the success he has had in the minor leagues, he knows what he has to do. But what I like about him, he came back, first 2 pitches in this inning, fastballs. They hit him hard. Now he didn't come back with a 3rd straight fastball. He comes out with a breaking ball. Gonzalez is looking fastball. He goes ahead and swings at it and rolls over into a force out. So a good job of pitching in the key situations.
And signal calling by Lieberthal too. You've got to factor him in. Steins will bat for Facero now with Hundley at 2nd and 2 men out. 4-1 Phillies, and Steins hits a rocket to left field, pretty deep. Burrell, as far as he can go, has room. That'll do it. After 8 innings, Brett Myers throwing a 2-hitter at the Cubs. He leads it 4-1. First 20,000 fans tomorrow, July 25th, get a Topps 1979 Dave Kingman baseball card, courtesy of MBNA America and CLTV. The authentic reprints available exclusively at Wrigley Field. As you all know, in 1979, Kingman led the major leagues with 48 home runs. The Cubs take the Phillies on again. 1:20 game time here in Chicago. For tickets, and there are still good ones available, call 1-800-THE-CUBS. Brett Myers, what a day for him. 8 innings of 2-hit, 1-run baseball in his major league debut in Chicago. He will be the toast of Philadelphia, and his day is done as he'll be lifted for the Phillies with Antonio Alfonseca on the mound for the Cubs.
The young right-hander with 5 strikeouts, only gave up 2 hits, double and a home run. But more importantly, leads with a 3-1 lead here in the 9th.
Jeremy Giambi leads off against Alfonseca. Phillies really have a conundrum with this man. He's a very good hitter and a very bad defensive player. So how can you get him in the game?
Are you saying he should have stayed in the American League then?
Well, that wasn't his choice.
Former Oakland A and Kansas City Royal. This year when they started trading everybody away in Oakland, he was one of the first recipients to get the boot. And it turned that ball club around because those guys in Oakland, they were kind of lulling there near the bottom of the pile. And all of a sudden, Billy Beane made some deals and started shaking that ball club up, and look where it's gotten them.
And that was a point Larry Boa made with you earlier today. How do you find a place for this guy with the wind conditions, with the high sky, bright sunshine? He wants to go with much more experienced outfielders, and he feels that Doug Glanville right now gives his team a defensive edge with or without Giambi. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Giambi, batting for Brett Myers, who could win his major league debut today. And down on strikes is Giambi, 1 away. Myers, by the way, at one point retired 14 consecutive men. He retired 16 of 17. Only 2 men reached base besides Bellhorn. That was a Miller walk and the Hundley double. That's it for the Cubs today. Complete command. He struck out 5, walked 1.
And Chip, take away the one pitch he threw to lead his start off as he threw up the backstop, his first warm-up pitch. That was about as nervous as the kid got because he settled down from that pitch on. And sometimes you could be so bad on one pitch, it calms you down, and he did that. But tremendous stuff for Brett Myers.
And another frustrating day at the plate for the Cub offense as Gonzalez fires to first. If the Cubs don't come back in the 9th, they'll go to 5-12 this year alone against pitchers making their debuts against the Cubs. And it's the second time on this homestand. Kirk Saarloos, you recall, of Houston, made life tough. Today, Myers the same for the Phillies. 2 outs for Rollins. He's walked twice, stolen a base, and scored 1. So for 2 in his official at bats. Hard to believe that a man 0 for 25 or 26 can walk twice in one game, but he has. That was the story of the day. 7 walks by the Cubs. 3 of them came in to roost.
And that's what you got to do. You got to make the opposition pay for putting that many guys on base.
Skied into straightaway center, and it's last chance time for the Cubs in. Seiko works a perfect top half. We'll see if the Cubs can come back right after this. And Brett Myers is a major league winner in his debut today, and his dad Phil Myers calling friends and family, I'm sure, around the country and down in Jacksonville, Florida, as the kid debuts in Chicago's Wrigley Field and has thrown a 2-hitter through 8 innings. Now he turns it over to the Phillies bullpen and Jose Mesa, and he'll face Bellhorn, Miller, Sosa, and hopefully many more. And Joe, this is the combination that gave Mesa trouble in game 1 of this series on Friday, so maybe history repeats itself today.
Well, the Cubs are looking for a chance to find some way to come back. But you talk about a proud papa, and I'm sure Mr. Myers is proud of his son Brett because he threw a tremendous ball game. And now 3-1 here in the 9th. We got extracurricular activities in the center field bleachers out here.
And it was Mesa on Monday that had his problems. Bellhorn, Stein, Sosa, and McGriff all reached base, and the Cubs won it in their last at bat. So hopefully it'll happen again here. Bellhorn 1 for 3, has 1 of the 2 hits. That was a home run, hit about 10 feet to our right here in right field. Mark a 5-game hit streak. Sinking fastball missed. Ball 1.
And right now, Chip down 3 runs. You talk about the most blown saves in the majors. And Joe Mesa right through the top at 7. But when you're down 3 runs, you want to take until you can get the count in your favor. Find a way to get on base because you want to bring the tying run to the plate. And with the top of the order, Bellhorn, Miller up, You know who's up third, and that's Sammy Sosa.
Need a big inning. 1 ball, no strikes to Bellhorn. Right through there with a good fastball. Very important homestand for the Cubs. Right now they've won 3, lost 2. After this one ends, we're down in St. Louis for a 3-game set, then back home to face the Padres and Rockies, and that gets us into the first week of August. Driven in the air, deep to left center field, but Burrell's got a beat on that. 1 out.
Well, this is what people, when you think of Wrigley Field, you say, oh, the wind's always blowing out. Wrong. The wind is 70% of the time blowing in, and it has really cost the Cubs this afternoon. A lot of fly balls just to the warning track would have been home runs. You take a look at all the pennants, and they're blowing straight in, and that is to a pitcher's delight.
Bill Miller, the hitter, and he takes low. Bill is 0 for 2 with a walk today. Phillies walked 1 man, the Cubs walked 7. Wow. That is the difference in the game. Just turns the lineup around, and Phillies took advantage of it.
Right.
With more late offense. This Philadelphia team, in virtually every game played against the Cubs, have scored at least 2, maybe even more than 3 runs after the 6th inning. They scored 4 from the 6th inning on today. They lead the league in walks. They lead the league in men left on base. And they're 2 outs away from leading this series 2 games to 1. For a game to be played tomorrow here on WGN. Zambrano against Duckworth, the scheduled starters. Joe and I will have the leadoff man beginning at 1 o'clock Central Time. At the knees. Later on tonight, Cardinals will visit San Francisco. A Cub loss and a Cardinal win sends the Cubs 13.5 back with 10 games left against St. Louis in this second half of the season. Full count, 3-2. Again, thanks to our great crew here at Wrigley Field. Eric Welch, Joe Carzoli. Great job manning the camera out here in right field. Little pop to Burrell in left. And Sammy Sosa, the final Cub hope here in the 9th inning.
Well, you look at all the Major League debuts this year, and 5 of them have won their first game. And Brett Myers is 1 out from making it 6.
Well, for so many years, people have bemoaned the lack of pitching in the major leagues. We're seeing a lot of good young talent coming up from the minor leagues now. Mark Pryor, one of them. Myers, another. Sosa 0 for 3 on the day. And Sammy, a line drive into the left field corner, but it's foul. And Sosa down a strike.
Which is the one thing, if you notice throughout the, I think the last 4, 5, 6 drafts that have been in Major League Baseball, pitchers are at a premium, and they're always looking for that next Mark Pryor, that next Dwight Gooden, that next Roger Clemens. And so they're always drafting the pitchers, and now you see all these guys come to fruition, and these guys all of a sudden come up here and making an impact.
1 strike to Sosa. Crowd not giving up here in the left field bleachers. And downstairs for Mesa. Excuse me, the right field bleachers. From our vantage point, we're in the left part of the ballpark for the right field bleachers.
But if it's on the left side, then why is it called right field? Just depends on which angle you're looking at. Yes, north or south.
I beg your pardon. Long day out in the sun. 1-1 count to Sammy. Also deep to left field. That's a line drive home run. Sosa, and the Cubs are within 2 with 2 out.
They're slamming Sammy and told him, I said, you owe us a home run today, but I wanted to be out here in right field, but we'll take it any way we can get it. Home run number 31 as Sammy slams it. A line drive on to Waveland Avenue, and it brings the Cubs to within 2, and there's still hope here at Wrigleyville.
481 for Sosa. He's 12 behind Lou Gehrig on the all-time homer charts. Cubs not dead yet. Here's McGriff. He's 0 for 3. Boy, Mesa doesn't have too many 1, 2, 3 ninth innings, does he?
He makes it very interesting. That was a line drive out the ballpark by Sammy. And now what's interesting here, find a way to bring the tying run to the plate. Get Fred McGriff on base somehow, some way. Bring up Moises Alou, and this is where you talk about having the presence of mind and the confidence to come back.
Good news for the Cubs, lots of home runs. Bad news is they, for the most part, have been solos of late.
And that has been, I mean, a tremendous key. Solo home runs would not win you ball game. They not lose you ball games. It's those 2- and 3-run homers that help propel you to the next level. And right now, the Cubs just can't do it with guys in scoring position. They can only run the 230 mark with guys in scoring position.
2 balls and a strike to Fred. If he gets on, the tying run comes to the plate. And here's another look at Sosa's home run. You talk about a muscled ball. This was it.
That's a fastball up in the zone, and he hammers it. Southwest says it flew 390 feet, and that was 390 feet in about 2 seconds.
Man, it got out quickly. You're right. So Sosa 1 behind A-Rod for the Major League lead. Sosa takes over the National League lead with 31 here today. Cubs down to their last strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 4-2 Phillies in the 9th inning. Alou waits next.
Jose Mesa going with the breaking ball. Got a fastball, breaking ball, and that split finger. You can see Fred McGriff with a lot of success against Jose Mesa. And now if he can put that into action right here, somehow get the time run to the plate.
Line center field. Tying run will come to the plate. 27th out is awfully tough to get.
It's always tough, and when you're Philadelphia Phillies closer, it seems like Larry Boyd has seen this much too often for his liking, and now he's going to take a long, slow stroll out to the mound as the Cubs have brought the tying run to the plate here in the bottom of the 9th. and Chip, you know, as a player, you in on these discussions, and the mender comes out and he goes, "Man, can't we just make it easy one time?"
That's why every Major League manager should have an antacid contract. So Boa will check his lineup card and try to figure out to whom he would go if Mesa has more problems. Here's Alou. Moises is 0 for 3, robbed of a hit by Scott Rowland to end the 7th inning.
Well, you can make a lot of people forget about the season you're having here. You hit a home run here.
Cubs good approach. They're going to make Mesa throw strikes. And look at the body language of Pat Burrell out in left. Hands on his knees, bent at the waist, said, "Come on, Jose. We've worked awfully hard to get this lead. Don't give it away in the 9th."
And they said, "We've seen this far too many times." And now the bullpen starts to get loose.
That Dan Plesac.
That's the diaper dandy himself. 40-year-old Dan Plesac. 2-0 to Moises Alou. He can get a good fastball here. This is where, Chip, you don't want to be late if you're looking fastball, and that's what you should be looking for.
He took it low. All 3.
And Jose Mesa went with a 2-0 slider, and all of a sudden it's got very interesting here. Not only in Wrigley, but in the right field bleachers.
Mesa's one pitch away from sending the go-ahead run to the plate here in the ninth. Rally caps are on. The stretch pitch. Fastball. Made him throw a strike, and he did. So now it's 3-2. McGriff will be running with 2 outs.
The tip, the rally caps may be working. Got mine inside out, so let's go get them. That's the upside down C.
3-2 pitch. Ground ball up the middle and throw. Base hit. Decision time for Larry Bowa. Corey Patterson is up. Lefty versus righty matchup now. If he brings on Plesac, the Cubs have Lewis and Echeverria waiting on deck. Now you're going to see a pinch runner. Delino to Shields will come on and run for Alou.
And you talking about what could be a backbreaker throughout the year when you give your team the lead, and you've seen 7 blown saves as Jose Mesa has blown 7 times. You see the players, they become demoralized, Chip, and it seems like anything can happen, and all of a sudden they look for those things to happen. But the Cubs have found a way to battle back. It's something we did not see the first half of the season. Now it's a different Cub ball club. They think they can, and they're looking to do some damage here.
Well, Patterson's due. He hit a rocket his last time up.
What do you say, home run rock touch, right?
Oh, that was great. This crowd would go nuts.
We'd go nuts, too.
Cubs with 3 straight 2-out hits in the ninth inning have drawn to within a pair. The tying runs are on. Winning run in the box. Crowd on its feet. Mesa versus Patterson. The pitch. Strike over the outside corner.
Got Todd Huntley next, and Dan Plesac warming up. Then may switch Todd around if Corey is able to get on base. Corey, we could use a home run right here.
This is so reminiscent of Monday. Swing and a pop-up, twisting foul, and Patterson in an 0-2 hole. Mesa came on Monday, faced 4 men, all 4 reached. And it was Fred McGriff's game-ending double that won it for the Cubs in the bottom of the ninth.
Well, you'd like to see some ball in the gap right here. You've fallen behind 0-2, and Mesa with that breaking ball and that split finger. May see a split finger here. Corey's got to find some way to hit the ball, get on base, and try to drive into Lionel DeShields from first base.
Fought off a tough pitch to stay alive. 0-2. Well-pitched game today with the exception of this ninth inning. And with the exception of Flash Gordon's performance. Myers and Pryor, glimpses of the present, glimpses of the future. They were terrific. Crowd hollering for Patterson to park one here and keep it alive. The 0-2. Swing, and he stayed alive.
You saw Mike Lieber thought he wanted that fastball up in the zone, hoping to get Corey to chase the ball up in the zone. But Mesa didn't get it high enough. And you can see Brett Myers, he's sitting on his hands, and he's like thinking, will this thing ever get over with?
Yeah, a few lip readers out there, we apologize. but the kid hollering fiddlesticks, anxiously awaiting one more strike for his first major league win.
Is that the game like Twiddlywinks or
Mumble T-Pad? Yeah.
The rally hats are on.
I'll say this, it'd be easy for the Cubs just to cash in their chips and say, let's go get them tomorrow. They fought right back here with 2 outs, and the Sosa home run, as it so often does, awakened the rest of the offensive attack.
There's something about coming back against the Phillies.
Yeah, something is right. Again, the 2-strike pitch. And Patterson swung at a ball in the dirt, and that's your ball game. Jose Mesa, another shaky ninth inning. And the Phillies hang on and win this one. And Brett Myers, in his major league debut at Chicago's historic Wrigley Field, is a winner for the first time. 4-2 is our final score. Totals, highlights, and more right after this.